Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Before we start, I would actually like to take a moment of silence in solidarity with our community in Australia, who are today part of a tragic event. I'd like to take the moment, if everyone can just take a moment just to think and remember. Aid Coalition was formed 2.5 years ago to bridge the space between events in Israel and the global community from whom Israel is not distant, those who Israel is part of our DNA. In the modern world today, with modern technology, instant communication, Israel is with us wherever we are. We carry it in who we are. Today, we saw that painful truth of that reality. Terror reached the far beaches of Australia, places many believed were safe, removed, and even thought it to be a refuge. Today actually reminded us that distance does not protect us and geography does not insulate us. We are Jews, we are Israelis, wherever we are, and we must be proud of who we are. History has taught us a hard lesson. When we try to hide, we are found. The hatred will find us anywhere. But when we stand strong, when we carry ourselves with pride, dignity, and self-respect, we're not only seen, we are respected. Our strength is not in numbers. It has always been in unity. When we stand together, we survive. And when we survive, we persevere. Our hearts are definitely together with our community in Australia and with the Jewish and Israeli communities everywhere they are dispersed across the world. With us today, you will see the entire team of the Aid Coalition from all over from many places. We're joining together to celebrate what was the holiday of light, of rebellion. Again, another period where we showed our strength in unity and where we saw that how through that unity we persevered. Without further ado, I'd like to turn the screen over to Tali, Aid Coalition Director of Community.
Hi, thank you, Jonathan. And like you said, here at Aid Coalition, this is really a global movement. So before we get started, I'd love to invite you to share with us where you're zooming in from. It's always meaningful to see how far and wide our community reaches. And this day when we gather for Hanukkah with a lot of heaviness, reminds us why this holiday matters so deeply, that light must always overcome darkness. Hanukkah personally has always been very meaningful to me. My grandmother was born in the land of Israel during the British Mandate, but we never really knew her exact birthday. So we always celebrate it on the first night of Hanukkah. So for our family, this holiday has always been about memory, about resilience, and light passed from one generation to the next. And today we have here our great Aid Coalition team that will share with you their stories and traditions. Before we get started, we wanted you to help us out settle the sweetest debate of the season. What's your favorite? Is it latkes? I know these could be either sweet or savory. Is it sufganiyot, finge, or American donuts? Let's see what you all like. In that spirit, I'm honored to welcome our guest today, Chef Tomer Amedi. He was born and raised in Jerusalem and is deeply inspired by the city's rich culinary tradition. He has cooked at some of Israel's most iconic restaurants, including Machneyuda and later he became a head chef of London's acclaimed the Palomar, earning a lot of top UK restaurant awards. Today, he serves as Culinary and Creative Director of the Landwer Group in Israel, bringing modern Israeli flavors to communities around the world. So we're really grateful to celebrate Hanukkah together through food, through tradition, and community. Before I hand it over to Chef Tomer, you can find a link to the recipe in the chat. This will also be sent to you in our follow-up email. If you have any questions throughout the session today, please write them in the Q&A and we'll ask the chef. So thank you for being here and let's get started.
Thank you very much, Tali. Nice to meet you all. It's amazing to be here, and it's very, very much, even though we have a very sad day, it's a joyous occasion for me to be able to share with you a bit of spirit of the holiday, which is for me to eat deep fried stuff. It can be better. So we're gonna do two recipes today. We're gonna do latkes. We're gonna do a little bit of a take with everything bagel spice over here. So, and a bit of za'atar and labane. That's gonna be nice. And then we're gonna do a sweet kind of fast donut, no need for proofing or yeast. And we're gonna do it bamba style with peanut butter and jelly and a little bit of bamba coating. It's gonna be interesting and it's gonna be tasty and it's gonna be deep fried. So, you know, can't go wrong with that. So I'm gonna light my oil and I'm gonna go through really quickly on the recipe what we need before we start. So we have 3 to 4 potatoes, which is 800 to 900 grams. We got 1 onion, approximately 100 grams, 2 eggs, between 40 to 60 grams of flour. You can use regular flour, semolina, gluten-free, anything you fancy, matzah flour, all works. Pepper, salt, a bit of za'atar, everything bagel. And for the garnish, I'm gonna use a bit of spring onions, some scallions, and some dill, and labane that is inside the fridge. So without any further ado, let's start. So we start with grating our potatoes. I already peeled them. If you have time, feel free to let them sit inside the water and inside the fridge. It will take up out a bit of the starch, and they're going to be a bit easier to grate and shape. So I grate it on the thickest grater. And you can really use any kind of potato. You can use butter, Yukon, red, yellow, anything work, even sweet potato. So feel free to play with any kind of potato you want for your latkes. Latkes is one of my favorites of all time, and I eat it a lot of time, even not just in Hanukkah. I like to eat it next to a good steak. I like to eat it with fried egg. You know, it's one of those things that's always comforts, you know, with carbs, good, fried, good, savory, good. So can't really go wrong there. Okay.
Yeah, and I see from our survey that our guests love latkes more than they do anything else. So I guess they share that with you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like for sufganiyot, you gotta be in the mood. But latkes, like you can never go wrong with latkes. You can eat it in the morning, you can eat it for lunch, you can eat it for dinner. You can have them sweet and savory. So yeah, I can understand why people choose the latkes option. All right. So done with the potato. And now for the hard part, the onion. You need to be brave. You need to make sure that you don't use your nose too much because you're gonna cry. We'll do a nice trick. Try to breathe a little bit through your mouth.
You know what my kids do? They put
Well,
their goggles on, their swimming goggles.
and it helps them?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I never tried that, to be honest. All right, so we have the potato, we have the onion, pretty simple. Now comes the most important thing. And I have a little trick for you guys at home to help you squeeze as much liquid as you can out of the latkes. So we have this nice bag, usually used for either cooking grains inside of chamin or chunt, or you can cook grains anywhere else, or you can also use a cheesecloth. I like to use this. So what I like to do is just put it inside. All right. And then it's really, really easy to squeeze all the excess liquid. And look how much liquid you have.
Wow.
And that's all the secret in good latkes. Just squeeze as much liquid as you can out. You want your latkes to be crispy. You want it to cook evenly. You want to cook it on air fryer, for example. That's one of the things that's going to help you to make sure you get the best latkes ever. And it's easy to squeeze it like this. Imagine you had to squeeze them now bit by bit with your hands. It could have been, well, a bit annoying. All right, one final squeeze. In my restaurant, we used to serve latkes with hanger steak and bone marrow and fried egg. And I had an Italian chef called Pietro, and he used to be the latkes master. And it's so funny to see an Italian dude from Sicily squeezing potatoes every morning to do latkes. So, and then I'm gonna take it outside. As you can see, we have quite nicely dry, and these are reusable, so also good for the environment. You can just rinse them, put them in the washer, in your dishwasher, and it's good to go. Again, look how nice and dry it is. So I'm gonna start with the eggs. Okay, 2 eggs. 1, 2, followed by pepper, black red pepper, salt, 6 grams of salt, and the everything bagel. That's gonna be our little twist. And you can make it at home also if you like, I don't know, you don't like, for example, sesame seeds or garlic. Basically, there's sesame here, black and white. There's poppy seed. There's a bit of dried garlic and dried onion, and a little bit of salt. And then the final thing is the flour. And I recommend don't add all the flour in one go. Go like half, and then start to work with the batter, and then decide if you need a bit more. Okay, so I'm gonna give a nice massage to the latkes. And what I like about this little twist is that usually when you do the latkes, they're pretty plain colored, and everything spice give them these nice little black dots. So that's kind of cool. And you can feel free to add whatever you want for your latkes. If you want to add a little bit chopped spring onion, you can do that. You can put thyme, you can put rosemary, you can do a lot of variants. Okay, so I can feel and I can see that I need a bit more salt, a bit more flour, sorry. And then I add the rest. And you can see the consistency need to look a little bit like, not like a dough, but it kind of sticks together, okay? And there's no liquid on the bottom. If you have liquid on the bottom, it means you did not squeeze it well enough, and you will need to squeeze a bit more. So my oil is hot, but remember, always do a little sacrifice of a mini latkes to make sure that it's really hot, because the rule is with deep frying that the first one always goes bad. I don't know why, it's just like a Murphy law. So if you can see, I'm gonna move my pot. We need to see bubbles all around the latkes. Okay. And this one needs a little bit more of preheating, just a tiny bit more. And the oil needs to go half of the height of the latkes. So depends on your skillet. Just make sure that you're putting enough oil, but not too much oil. It's not deep fried, it's shallow frying. So what I have left to do now is to shape them with my hands and start frying them. Anybody has a good Hanukkah story?
Sharon, I know, is doing the latkes together with us. How are you doing on the latkes in Rochester?
Well, I just needed to wash my hands in order to unmute myself. So thank you. Yes. So I'm following Chef Tomer's alternative instructions. So instead of using flour, I'm using a gluten-free substance, and I'm going to try and make my latkes in the air fryer. Now, latkes, my mom used to make amazing latkes. On one side of my family, we're Ashkenazi, and well, I'm terrible at latkes. My mom was great. But the first night of Hanukkah, Tali, similar to your story, my grandfather, the Sephardic side, we celebrated his birthday on the first night of Hanukkah in Tel Aviv. So I'm a proud Jerusalemite myself, and it's now snowing in Rochester. It reminds me the cold nights of Hanukkah in Jerusalem when I was a kid. But first night of Hanukkah, we celebrated in Tel Aviv at my Sephardic side of the family, with my Sephardic side of the family. And aside from the traditional foods that are familiar, our version of latkes was like kind of potato fritatas and bombuelos. So, and there was also a lot of other foods. So I'm actually I'm trying to air fry 6 latkes here in Rochester. So I'm going to put it in an air fryer, and then the rest I'm going to put aside. And if I'm successful with the air fryer, I'll do the rest in the air fryer. If I'm not, I'm going to just follow the main instruction and just cook those in the pan.
Great. Thank you, Sharon.
Sounds like a plan. Make sure you guys squeeze them as you go, because they're gonna continue to take out a bit of liquid. So while you shape the latkes, squeeze each patty, okay? So for example, you can see how much liquid still comes out because of the egg and because of the natural moisture, okay?
Oh, yeah, lots of liquids.
Lots of liquids, yeah.
Is there anything to do with those liquids?
No, you can sacrifice them to God of latkes.
So moving from food stories, we have Liron from Israel with us, from our aid team, and he has a great story about his Hanukkah as a child.
Well, it wasn't so great when I was a child, but when I was, like the big thing was a bicycle goes by the name of Rally Chopper, which was like the dream of every teenager. And I wanted to buy them. And my late father believed in hard work, not just giving money away. So I worked all summer to that I can afford the bicycle. And on the first day of Hanukkah, I got just enough money so I can go on the second day of Hanukkah to the store and buy them. And I did. And I was so proud of them. And on the third day, I wanted to ride them. So I went down and discovered that somebody stole them. So
Oh
that's my
man,
Hanukkah story. I
the
need a
other one
little,
are the one with the like the long seat, banana seat, right?
you know it,
Yeah,
true. It was
yeah, I
like
remember
that.
them.
It felt like Harley Davidson on the very young version of Harley Davidson. So that's my Hanukkah story.
That's a bummer, man. So did you ever get a new one, or the dream was forever lost?
No, it was
Oh,
lost. It was lost.
bummer.
But but
My
long
heart
years
goes
of
out.
therapy, like long years of therapy, I think I'm now over it.
Yeah,
Well,
fantastic
it's
story.
you're
I
never
mean,
too old to ride a bicycle, you know? So
yeah, it is
make that
correct.
dream come true.
It's like
I
riding a
got
bicycle,
another.
Liron. You could go back to it.
I've got another cool trick for you guys. Whenever you're using chopping boards, they always tend to move, and you need to put something on the bottom. So what I like to use is this. These are the rubbers from jars that you get, like mason jars, and then once you put them underneath your board is well secured and it's not going to move. Plus, it's reusable, it's easy, and you don't need to wet like a cloth or something, which is less fun. So that's a really cool um, method to secure your board. I'm gonna chop some spring onion for us.
Chef, there is a question. Does it matter what kind of oil we use to fry the latkes?
Oh, very good question. Yeah, you need a neutral oil that can go to a high temperature. So basically, it can be sunflower, it can be soy or canola or rapeseed. It can be any kind of neutral oil with a um, high temperature point of boiling, because you don't want the oil to boil and get burned while you fry. Because we fry in quite high temperatures, as you can see. Okay, I'm gonna start flipping my latkes. I'm gonna show you the way they need to look like when you flip them. So hopefully you can see that. Nice and brown, and they have a nice crispy touch to them. And you want to look for a nice halo before you start flipping. So you're gonna have the kind of white yellowish flesh of the potato, and then you're gonna have a nice brown, golden brown halo. I'm gonna try to be brave and get my sautage close to you guys so you can see. All right, so
Oh wow. I can smell it. I think I'm smelling it.
very good.
You know
All
those
right.
memories where you combine the smell and the
Oh,
um
definitely. Any kind of deep fried potato-ish something is like, it's like a miracle for me. I just love the smell of potatoes in oil, or like even in the oven. There's something magical about potatoes. So I'm gonna do a couple of dill tops. Now, a lot of people don't like dill, and I discovered something as a chef, that most of the people that don't like dill don't like the stalks. A lot of people just chop it roughly and put it in whatever. And the stalks are what people usually don't like. They are the more licoricey kind of flavor. And then the leaves are quite delicate. So if you'll try at home just to taste the leaf, you'll see that they're a lot more subtle in their flavor than trying to eat them with the stalks. And that's the way I like to eat it. So I'm gonna bring our Lebanese cheese.
We can't find Lebanese cheese. I know it's not available everywhere.
You can use Greek
What can we
yogurt,
use?
like 10% Greek yogurt, and add like 2 drops of lemon. Mix it a little bit, and you're gonna have a nice Lebanese. And you can use sour cream and Greek yogurt also. It's a good mixture, or just sour cream. All goes. I just use Labana because I really love the mix between sour-ish spreadable cheese and za'atar. It's a magical combination. And oh, look at that! I have to show you this. Look, spectacular. Look at the color.
Beautiful.
I'm
Good.
checking on my
flipping them.
latkes and they look still very, very pale. I mean, it takes time in the air fryer.
Yeah, it's supposed to take you around, I don't know, 15 to 18 minutes, I think, no?
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. But I just wanted to say, here in Rochester, which is in the East Coast, we actually can get California-made labane. It's called karun, and it's made out of yogurt. It has all the probiotics and whatnot. So maybe a supermarket might have it near the cream cheese section.
I'm gonna give you a recipe for labane
But
using
you can also do that.
our ta-da. You should get one. It like it's like costs $2. So you take yogurt, Greek yogurt, you mix a tiny bit of salt, a tiny bit of lemon, just for flavor. You hang it in your fridge overnight, and you end up with labne. Very, very, very simple. At the
Amazing.
Palomar, we used to do our own labne every day. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It's only
My
one
mother-in-law
night?
does her own as well.
Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit chefy here. I'm gonna do a bit of plating, if you don't mind. I'm gonna take the labne. Gonna smear it on the edge of my plate. You can do that also, so your guest's gonna be like, "Ooh, look at you." So I'm gonna do one side, and then the other side, and have kind of like yin and yang thing going. Then some za'atar. You can get decent za'atar powder in the States, from what I recall. There's really good Lebanese za'atar there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then tiny bit of olive oil on the labne. And then one important thing, when you finish to fry them, the latkes, a lot of people put them on like paper towel. Bad. They just sit inside their oil. Whenever you deep fry something or shallow fry something, you want to take it out on a net and let it air dry. And that will make sure that whatever you deep fry is going to be crispy and it's going to be oilless. Okay, the oil is either going to drip to the bottom, either going to vape, and it's not going to absorb them. So I know from my mom is still doing it the same way with paper towels, and we're like, "Mom, you're just drowning your schnitzels in oil." And she's like, "No, that's the way I do it, and that's the way I know." So trust me, just try it, and you'll see you'll get super crispy, super tasty latkes. So basically, just get yourself a nice cooling rack, and your latke is gonna be amazing. I promise you. I'm gonna start taking them out, the ones that are ready. The first one is already ready, and the second one is already ready.
While you're getting those out, we're gonna be lighting candles later on, but Michal has this great story, great, very Israeli story about her Hanukkah.
Hi, thank you, Tomer, for the great tip of the oil and the net. You saved my life. I use the towels all the time, so now it'll be over. I somewhere in the middle of the 90s, I was a new soldier in the army, and I was just stationed on the Hermon mountain. It was very cold, and it was Hanukkah, and we gathered together, all the unit, to celebrate Hanukkah and light the candles. And in the minute we started to say Baruch Atah Adonai, there's the horn started to make a loud sound, and there was a warning about there was a warning that the enemy is trying to get in and pass the border, and it calls Turkish rider, and everybody just spread around and go to vehicles and went to the the top of the mountain, and it took several hours, and I think everybody went back to the unit at around 2 a.m. in the morning, and our commander said, nobody's going to sleep. We're gonna continue from where we left off. Everybody was very tired, but we lit the candles after all the hectic time we had, and then we ate the very, very cold latkes and very, very cold sufganiyot, and then we went to sleep. So this is my Hanukkah story.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, the last ones are out. Look at them. They look so sexy. I mean, the golden brown, textures like sun. And I like, but that's just me. Yeah, I'm a very salt affectionate guy. Most chefs are. So when they're out, if you like it extra salty, that's the time to sprinkle a bit of extra salt. You can use regular table or kosher salt or even sea salt if you want. But I really, really love that extra salty bite on the exterior. And also it helps to draw the oil out even further from the latkes. So I'm gonna show you the first one, okay? And you can see it's completely dry. Yeah, I'm gonna go a bit closer. And if she would have sat inside of paper towel, I can assure you, can you hear this? Let's do a crunch test. Oh my God, the everything bagel
I'm
is
getting hungry.
superb. Get a bit of onion and garlic and poppy seed. Lovely. So I'm gonna put my lattices like good soldiers. Okay.
Tomer, how much time does it usually take to fry them?
Around 10 minutes, depends how much oil you have. And then let's sprinkle them with a little bit of holiday spirit here in the shape of dill. And a bit of spring onion or scallions. I always mix up between the English way and the American way to say it. So here we have latkes with labne, za'atar, everything bagel, a bit of dill, and a bit of spring onion. And I can't help it, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to engineer a small bite for myself before we continue, because that's when you know you love food. You just can't resist. Touch of this and a touch of my onion, and you gotta try it, guys.
Oh my God, that looks
You're
amazing.
killing me. You're killing me. I already made my plate with the labane and the za'atar and everything. I can't wait to have my latkes out of the air fryer. So, oh, you're kidding me here.
And feel free to, add a bit more of the everything bagel if you like it, a bit less. But just make sure you squeeze them correctly. Make sure your oil is hot, and you're gonna have a very good Hanukkah, a very good savory Hanukkah. Now I'm gonna reorganize. I'm gonna organize my area, and then we're gonna do bamba sufganiyot with jelly.
Ooh.
Okay, I just want to make sure you got my address so you can send them, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Like the
Well,
taxi
you
driver will
located.
be there. The taxi driver will be there in 2 minutes.
So while you're getting organized, I want to turn it over to Lior. Lior, can you tell us your Hanukkah story?
It's not so much a story, more of a trauma, basically, but probably
All is
happened to
right.
many of you, I imagine. In kindergarten, they made us make a menorah from clay. And I was super proud of the really, really ugly menorah that I made. Brought it home for the first candle of Hanukkah to my mother. And apparently, I must have done something wrong because the menorah didn't really hold up and almost burned the house down. So it was a bit of a drama, but we still have like that half menorah that survived in my mother's house, and I insist that we light the first like 2, 3 candles in it every year.
Yeah, I think a lot of us made all those menorahs growing up. But I think in most houses those weren't saved. So kudos to your mom.
She didn't have a choice. I forced it.
All right, guys. So while I organize, I'm gonna go through the materials. This one is a tiny bit more elaborate, but I'm sure you gonna persevere with me. Okay, so we have here, it's quite different, these donuts, okay? You usually do donuts with yeast, you let them proof, then you shape them, then you fry them, and they look like this airy, big, doughy donuts with, well, not too much jam, usually. I like my donuts super rich. So, and I like my donuts as soon as I want to have donuts. So my patience is not a big virtue of me when I need my deep fried stuff and sweets. So this is what I decided to do with you guys, is to share how I do this really super quick, no proof, no nothing. The two most important things that you need to remember while you do these donuts is A, the oil has to be in the perfect temperature. Go too high, it's gonna be doughy inside and not crusty from the outside. Go too low, it's gonna absorb a lot of oil. So please get a thermometer. Usually, I also recommend getting a thermometer for frying anyway, because it's good tool to have in the kitchen, and to make sure that you don't burn or you don't over fry or under fry whatever you're frying. So I've got mine set on 165 Celsius or X Fahrenheit, if when somebody can translate to American, probably something like 300 and I don't know, 20. Correct
How
me if
much
I'm
do you
wrong.
put it for the latkes?
The latkes I don't measure because it's shallow frying. When you do shallow frying, you just go high and you make sure there's bubbles, because you're not deep frying. It's not coating the whole thing. The material actually touches the pan. So you got two kinds of heat. You got the heat of the sautage of the pan, and you got the heat of the oil. When you deep fry, you have only the oil surrounding. So it's a lot more crucial. So let's start with our donuts. Okay, this is pretty quick and fun. So we have here 280 grams of flour.
So just
We have,
for everybody to know, 165 Celsius is 329 Fahrenheit.
no, I was close,
Yeah,
320.
very good.
Still got something left. Get a pinch of salt. Sugar, we divided. We have 25 in the recipe. We're gonna put 15 and 10 for the eggs. And these are all my dries, okay? That's one. Then I have my wets. And in my wets, I'm gonna have my yogurt and or sour cream or a mix. A little tip, if you go with yogurt like 3% to 6%, they're gonna be a little bit fluffier. If you're going with sour cream that is a bit more fatty, they're gonna be a bit heavier, but a bit richer in flavor. So I did like a mix between yogurt and sour cream. I put just like 1 spoon of sour cream inside because I really like the sour flavor. So at this, I have 5 grams of really high quality vanilla paste. Get yourself something that is good, or if you have vanilla pods and you want to scrape them, that's kudos to you guys. I'm lazy, but do get like high quality one. So that's that. Oh, and I forgot, we have baking powder to the dries. Oh, doy. All right. And the last thing that we're going to need is a bowl to whip the egg whites. This is what makes these donuts really cool and special. It's a trick from like Japanese style donut souffles. So I'm gonna put my sugar, the rest of the sugar, and make sure when you separate the eggs, the egg yolk goes inside our wet and the egg white goes inside the sugar so we can whip it. So, okay, just be very gentle with that. Okay, and yolk. And one more, very gentle. And yolk. Now, if you got yolk in the whipping bowl, start all over again. It's not gonna become, like soft peaks. It's not gonna become a meringue. So pretty important to do the right way. Now, you can either do like a hand blender, you can do whisk with a little elbow, grease elbow. I'm gonna use this, which is pretty cool, and I have a little speed.
Tomer, for the donuts, can we also use gluten-free flour?
Yeah, there's no problem. As long as you go with this method of using the egg whites, you'll be okay. So that happens quite fast.
Maybe move over the flour bowl so we can see it.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so we will. Whisking it quite quickly, and we want to have soft sticks. So not like a meringue super hard stick, soft sticks is enough. What does it mean, soft sticks? Soft pick is when I lift and you see the head of the pick went like, meep. That's soft picks. Hard picks, you go, you pull it, and the pick stays very stiff. Okay, so that's soft picks. Was what, 2 minutes? Not that bad. Okay, and then we have here our egg yolk, our yogurt, our vanilla, and we're going to add it to the flour. Okay. And we don't want to overmix, guys, okay? You're gonna see it's going to be a bit crumbly, and that's good. We don't want them too condensed. We want them nice and fluffy, okay? So I'm just mixing them just until it's nicely combined. And don't worry, it's gonna look crumbly in the beginning. So don't panic. That's the way it should look. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's the texture. Okay, it's combined, but still a bit crumbly. And now we're gonna add our fluffy egg white. We're gonna do half and half, so half of the amount.
Before you mix, can you show the egg whites?
Sure. So soft peaks, okay? Soft peaks. It's not too hard. It's still fluffy.
Thank you.
And then I just fold it really quickly. I really wanted to give you guys something a bit different because everybody is doing like, regular yeast donut. I wanted to give you something that's gonna be a nice wow factor. Plus, you can do it from scratch in like 20 minutes, including the filling time and everything. So
we all like to save time.
exactly. And you can do it with the kid if you want. Okay. Good. Now, we don't want to over process it, guys. Okay. Just until it's homogenic, because we have a lot of air cooped up inside this lovely meringue, the whipped whites. And it needs to look a bit moist like this, okay? We don't want to over process it. Now we want to let it rest for about 3 to 5 minutes, not longer than that. Meanwhile, we're gonna do the filling and we're gonna make sure our oil is nice and warm. I'm gonna put that aside for a second. My oil is at 162, which is quite close. I'm gonna take it up a notch. And we're gonna do our filling. So for the jam, I took like a regular super standard strawberry jam. I'm gonna add about a spoon of water just to help it open up a bit. So it will be easier for me to fill it up. And if you got like, chunky jam, then you can blend it if you want. And this is a nice trick. If you have a measuring jug, it will help you to feel. This is how we do it in restaurants. It will help you to feel. I put a nice narrow tip on the end. Santal in Hebrew, if anybody knows the English word for santal instead of top, please educate me. Okay, that's done. And then I'm gonna teach you another 2 tricks. One, this is your best friend. This is your scraper. Your scraper scrapes. Then the second best thing is when you want to close this, instead of, like tying it up really weird, you just cut it about 1 hand above where the filling is ending in the middle, like this. Okay, and you just flip, and tie. And again, this is how we do it in professional restaurants or pastries or whatnot. And then it's very easy to work and it's not gonna open up. Okay, then our peanut butter filling. So we got here our smooth peanut butter. I used TP, I think, because this is what we have here, and I quite like it. We have powdered sugar and cream, okay? Double cream if you're in the States. Okay, and I just blitz it really quick to a smooth texture.
If we have some people that are allergic to peanuts, what kind of other fillings we can have instead?
First of all, my condolences. You're missing out. And second, you can use any kind of, like, if you're not allergic to other nuts, today you have amazing butters. You got almond butters, you got walnut butters, and you can do the switch. That's first of all. And then second of all, you can use any filling that you want. These donuts, you can do marshmallow fluff inside and chocolate. You can do chocolate and jelly. Like, play with it. I just really wanted to have something a bit Israeli here, which is the bamba, mixed with something very American, which is the peanut butter and jelly. So that's why I chose it, but feel free to, play with it, with the fillings. And so again, we're gonna use our filling trick. Okie dokie. Gonna pass it. Schloof, schloof, schloof. Schloof, schloof, schloof. And good to go. And again, as I said, best friend, Mr. Scraper. And Mr. Knife. Okay. And the last thing we need to do is the bamba powder. So basically, that's the easiest part. Just take a bag of bamba, shrink, and we're good to go. That was easy. Okay, look at that. That's our bamba powder, and I'm gonna put it in a tray so I can roll my donuts in them. And let's start frying the donuts. Take this to the back. All right, so I have my butter. That's my batter. And easiest way is to just spoon, okay? And just oil your spoon a little bit. You can use the hot oil. It will be very easy. And we want to do them quite small. We want to do them around 35, 30, maximum 40 grams because they're really heavy, okay? So about yay big, yeah? Okay, that's the size. About nice spoon, and then into the oil. Bloop. And it tastes, they fry quite quickly. They fry around 1 to 2 minutes, around 2 minutes, and they're gonna flip themselves. I'm gonna try to take the camera closer once they're in. You can also use like an ice cream scoop, the one that you can do like wink wink, you know, and get them out. I'm a bit old school. I like to use the spoons because I don't like them to have like a perfect round shape. I like them to be a bit quirky, because then when you roll them inside the bamba powder, you get the bamba in all the nooks and crannies. So, you know, that's just me. But feel free to roll them like this, or you can even roll them with your hands. That's also sababa, no problem. And I'm gonna try and bring the camera because they fluff really nicely. Come with me. Look at that. You see how they fluff? That's really nice. And they're gonna flip themselves. And this is because of the egg whites. Okay.
So they
So
flip
once
on
we
their
added
own?
them,
We don't need to flip them?
yep, one of them just flipped. One of them just popped up, and soon they're gonna flip themselves. Usually they flip themselves. Same as my iPhone just flipped itself. Occupational hazard.
At least it's not in the oil.
That could have been unfortunate. Okay. That's lesson learned. Do not move the camera while you do that. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna help them to flip because one of them flipped and one of them didn't flip.
So while you're
Yes,
flipping
one just
them,
flipped. That's
I
good.
want to turn
And
over
don't fry too many at the same time. So, you know, 5, 6, 7 each time. And you need to fill them, you'll see in a moment, while they're still quite hot. It's not like regular donuts. Regular donuts, you wait for them to cool completely. And they have a lot of air inside. So once they cool down, they start to shrink up a little bit. So you want to let them cool just a little bit, fill them, and then they hold up the filling really nice and the texture. So we're gonna see that in a couple of seconds.
So while we're waiting for them to get ready, I want to hear Ola from Israel. Tell
And we
us
need
your
to fry them
Hanukkah
just until
story.
they're golden brown, not more than that. Because then they're gonna
I don't
start
think I could
absorbing
compete
oil.
with the Chef Tomer with my story while he's
20 more seconds and we're good.
Go ahead,
okay. So
Ola.
I grew up
Now
on a
this
kibbutz.
not doing the air fryer, 100%.
I would never attempt to make sufganiyot in the air fryer. Not worth it. Or
Yeah, I'm wondering if
Opa, look at them.
Chef Tomer is
They're
still
cute.
giving instructions. Tali, I don't want to
Yeah,
interrupt
They're
him.
so cute.
I think he's not hearing us.
Yeah, okay.
Number 2 is out.
Oh, these look really big. Do you hear us, Chef Toma?
1 second, I'm having a bit of communication difficulties here.
Chef, can you
Is it-
hear us?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, it got disconnected when it fell
Okay.
down.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I was just saying they look really buffed up. They look
Yeah.
very big.
Yes, this is what we want. So we start small and we get bigger as we go. And that's because of our egg white. It contains a lot of bubbles of air. and not east. Usually the air comes from the east. So I'm gonna continue to deep fry, and then I'm gonna peel those ones while I deep fry. I'm gonna try to multitask like a good chef.
So you're filling them while they're hot, while they're still hot.
Yeah. I mean, I give them about 3 minutes to cool down a little bit, but we don't want to let them cool all the way down.
Okay. So I think this gives us a minute for Oraz's short story.
Sure.
Go ahead,
Hey.
Oraz.
Yeah, so I grew up in a kibbutz. I have a bunch of Hanukkah stories. I think it has to do with the fact that my kibbutz was founded on a Hanukkah 99 years ago. So we celebrate Chag HaMeshek on Hanukkah. So next year is going to be a big party here, 100 years, a century of a kibbutz. So maybe one of my earliest memories was walking up to a huge metal welded menorah built on the metal factory on the kibbutz, looking up as a kindergarten child at the menorah and thinking, wow, this is so big. And then fast forward, my next memory is my dad taking me to a Fula hospital, and I'm having a popsicle because the menorah smashed my face. And that was the first time I had stitches. So that's my Hanukkah story, which is also my biggest scar story.
That sounds painful.
We take out the sting of the story by having latkes every year. It's very comforting.
That's a good reason to eat latkes. Any reason is a good reason to eat latkes.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, I'm gonna do the filling now. So I'm gonna do a little bris to the piping bag. Get the tip out. Same here. Get the tip out. And then you can use different tools, but I discovered that the best tool is like a reusable straw. And I'm gonna do one hole on the side, and then another hole on the other side. And then I'm gonna click, fill one side with my peanut butter and the other side with my Jello. And then into the bamba. So you can do one and then two wherever, 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 and then just go in with the peanut. Then in with the Jello. Where's my second hole here? Oh, there it is. Because there's nothing more disappointing than a donut with no filling. Am I right? I mean, you know, when you get those cheap ones and then you take a bite and it's all dough and you're like, what's the jam, man? Where's the jam? And then you get to the center and there's like pink, just like a tiny stub of jam. So be kind and fill those suckers up all the way. I need to cut my, there you go. Needs to go outside. There you go, that's better. Okay, and then, there you go. Nicely filled. And bamba time, just in time to flip them.
Chef, can you
rolling
show
in the
us how
bamba.
they look like after the bamba?
Of course, I'm rolling them first of all. And you can also, if you like it like sweet and savory, you can use a bit of powdered sugar just for them to get those nice, nice white and beige. Bamba donuts. It's fantastic. Fa la 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 la. It's Hanukkah. Look at that. Let's open one. Can I? Will I?
Yeah,
Shall I?
sure.
Okay, I'm coming to you guys. Ooh-wee.
Oh, wow.
Mm. Oh, in the words of Sacha Baron Cohen, great success. Guys, we need to do this live. You gotta taste this.
They look incredible.
You should really, really try this at home. Mm. And as you can see, we did it live. It's quite fast comparing to doing like, you know, regular style donuts. Whoop.
Yeah, I have to say these must have been the fastest donuts that I've ever seen being made.
You know why I usually hate doing donuts? 'Cause I have lack of patience. I want my donuts fast. So this gives me the right way to do it.
So the only
Ah,
thing left for us is to light the candles.
yeah, let's do that.
Today's first candle of Hanukkah.
Wait, let me bring my Hanukkah. I'm with you.
And I want to say this: we light this first candle and dedicate it to Ran Gvili, the last hostage that's still held in Gaza. And we hope for his soon return home for proper burial. Together with his family, we await for his return. So we light yellow candles today. And let's go ahead and do it. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של חנוכה.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Amen.
Today, this is the first candle, so we have another blessing. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen.
So I wanted to thank everybody for joining us. I wanted to thank you, Chef Tomer. I hope we'll see you again on some other very tasting opportunities. And I want to thank all the amazing Aid Coalition team for being with us today and for, with all of the, hard feelings of today. This has been a very, challenging year. And we're ending today with this webinar, this year's webinar series. So our next webinar will be next year in 2026. And I hope to see you all there.
Amen. Thank you very much for hosting me. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, we'll get to do much more of this and create a stronger bond between our taste buds in Israel and our taste buds abroad. And thank you for being so generous and hospitable. It's been a pleasure to be a guest. Thank you.
Chag Sameach, everybody.
Thank you.
Chag Sameach.